Hello, my name is Peter West, and I'd like to introduce you to our webinar on mobile connectivity for healthcare. But really, this can apply to several different verticals. So if you're from the emergency response, or if you're in enterprise connectivity or branch office, the technology and the services will kind of go hand in hand. The only thing that's going to change is the verbiage and maybe some of the use cases. But what I'm going to cover today is the challenges that people face when they're trying to do mobile operations and connectivity. I'm going to introduce SpeedFusion technology and do an executive overview. So meaning that I'm not going to really go into the technical details as much as possible, and really more focus on what the benefits are of the different SpeedFusion options and why you might buy one of our different routers, the smaller versus the more expensive routers, and what SpeedFusion technology really does and how that applies to those routers. Then I'm going to go over some of our Max routers. I'm going to let you kind of get a almost like a catalog overview of our single, dual, and quad cellular routers. And then I'm going to go over a case study for mammography, a case study for dental, a case study for telehealth, and then I'm going to introduce my team at the very end. So thank you, and let's get started. Workforce is that it's slow or it's unreliable access to EMR, and what clinicians do out in the field is they just end up using paper or pencil or a laptop connected to a hotspot, and the system isn't predictable, it's not reliable, and it's not consistent. And so it causes a lot of strain on clinicians trying to get their work done. Another big headache that I find is that when people are associated to imaging like PACS, dental, CTI scans, cardiology, mammography, especially because the file size is so big, is that what they do is they go out, they do their scanning, they take all their imaging, they have an expensive server on the vehicle, they drive back to the hospital, they plug in, and they have an entire workflow that the clinicians have to do to process at the end of the day to get those files into the hospital. Not only does that add extra time for the clinicians, extra workflow that needs to be followed, but it also adds a lot of cost because you're buying extra equipment that doesn't need to be purchased for that mobile unit. And this third one's a big one. IT does not like mobile networks, and I get it as an IT guy and doing this for many, many years. When you have something that really is out of your control or not physically able to get a hold of, or something maybe that is unknown, it kind of creates some adoptability issues as well as compliance issues, and we understand that as well. And so, a lot of times we get the IT doesn't like the mobile network because it's not on their network. It's not part of their ecosystem that they're used to working with. And I hear this all the time, and it's just it's like a little pet peeve, but people say live imaging can't be done on cellular networks, or the network isn't fast enough for EMR and imaging and telemedicine and televideo. And that one is just, if I could do like a big flash on the screen, fake news, it is. I mean, we've been doing it since 2012. My very first customer was was LSU Healthcare with Jerry McLarty. And he brought me in and said, hey, I want to be able to send live mobile mammography images from rural Louisiana back to our hospital so that we're not being challenged by these items. And we worked together for about 6 months, trying out how many SIM cards we would need, how much bandwidth is being used, what kind of bufferings do we need to have, implementing some extra WAN smoothing and different technology you'll learn about in this show or this presentation that lets people know that allowed the project to be done. Okay, so I'm going to leave this on the screen for a few seconds. If you want some free swag, you can email sales@westnetworks.com. Give me your shirt size, whether or not you're male or female, your shipping address. We do have a swag code. It's a PEPLink with a P3PL1NK. It is going to be valid from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And we're going to give you some free shirts and maybe a couple surprise gifts. We're starting a summer promotion next month. And so we figured, hey, this is a great kickoff because it's May 1st. And so, but we've got some cool stuff that we're going to get out. So everybody's going to get a shirt if you want one. And if you want more swag, at the end of the presentation, I'm going to ask another question. And if you email me the right answer, you will be entered into a drawing for some goodies as well. And so I'm going to leave this up for just a few more seconds. But once again, if you email sales@westnetworks.com, for those of you just listening via audio only, and you email me your shirt size, male or female, shipping address, swag code P3PL1NK. It is valid from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock today, and we will send you a free shirt. And at the end of the conference, we will ask you another question or two. And if you respond to that with some feedback, we will also put you into a drawing for some kind of fun goodies. And so, and the little handsome guy there on the right is me, and that's my beautiful wife, the CEO of the company. So, okay, moving on. How do we accomplish this? How do we do what other people say is not possible? And in short, the answer is speed fusion. Speed fusion is the idea of aggregating multiple carriers together to create an ultra reliable VPN. This is patented technology. It is this particular bonding aggregation is unique to Peplink hardware, and it does require two pieces of hardware. It requires a piece of hardware on the left, which is your mobile unit, and a piece of hardware or software on the right, which is in your data center that provides access to the EMR or the PACS and imaging systems. We aggregate bandwidth from multiple WANs that are bonded at the packet level, which means as the packets come in, we split those packets up and send them across all those links back to the data center. Not only are we offering a really nice and reliable VPN, but we also have 256-bit AES encryption, and it ensures, oh my gosh, tongue-tied there. It ensures session persistence, which what that means is if carrier one goes down and you're in the middle of transmitting an image, or you're on your remote desktop accessing your EMR, you don't even feel an interruption. There's no jitter in your display. The image that continues to send. And that's what makes our technology so much better than any other multi-cellular or multi-internet connection, is that no matter what, we are able to continuously transmit and provide access to your hospital or your facility, regardless of how many connections, as long as one of them is working. Obviously, if none of them are working, you're not going to be able to connect because there'll be no service. But as long as one of them is working, you're going to have this continuous connection. Another question I get a lot is, how many do I need? I'm going to address this a little bit later, but just remember that, kind of like at your house, sometimes you have really, really fast internet. Then a whole bunch of people come into your neighborhood, start using your internet. They get home at night, start browsing Netflix and that kind of stuff. And the internet, for the whole neighborhood kind of gets suffered a little bit. Cell towers are very similar, especially with work from home, or if you're in a congested area like a football stadium. So the idea of aggregating multiple SIM cards not only provides increased bandwidth, but it also provides stability and continuity. Because if the SIM cards are being throttled to protect the bigger congested network, if you have multiple of these working together, you're going to have more power than a single device. So it kind of ensures continuity even in hard to connect areas. So what is speed fusion, and what is it? What are the core technologies associated to it? The first technology is PEP-VPN. PEP-VPN is our baseline VPN technology. It's designed for single internet connections. What it really does, it's very similar to an IPsec VPN if you're used to that, but what's important is it's part of the Peplink ecosystem. So you're not having to have a whole bunch of different VPN technologies. You can have bonding, you can have the other technologies I'm about to mention, and it's all under one umbrella of connectivity. So you can have single devices, quad devices, 15 cellular devices, all of them connecting to the same ecosystem. Then we have hot failover. Hot failover is great if you have like a fixed facility with a cable or fiber line and you want to fail over to cellular. You don't necessarily want that cellular running all the time consuming bandwidth because you have an Ethernet line. So say you have an MPLS connection or a fiber line going to your facility, but you want to make sure that you have continuity in the event that facility is that internet connection is disrupted. You can have it hot failover to a cellular connection or an alternative connection like another cable or DSL modem. without interrupting your services. So if you're in the middle of a voice over IP phone call and your MPLS or primary circuit fails, you can hot failover to that backup circuit without interrupting connectivity. And once again, that's we talk about the PepLink ecosystem and SpeedFusion. We're really getting into this unbreakable connectivity. The idea is if you configure it the right way and we deploy it the right way, that you're not going to disrupt your users. This next feature, WAN smoothing, is a phenomenal feature that is incredibly powerful part of the PepLink VPN technology. And it's what allows me, even so long ago, to offer live DICOM imaging over cellular, which was typically 3G, with PepLink, because what it does is it uses parity bits. So now extra data, so it does cost more as far as data is concerned. It uses parity bits to fill in the gaps when you are sending files. So instead of being bonded super, super fast, instead it's super, super smooth. It's a very reliable connection. And then our peak of performance, the creme de la creme, or whatever you want to call it, of the PepLink ecosystem is our bandwidth bonding. And the idea here is we're combining multiple circuits together to create an ultra fast and continuously reliable connection. So let's dig into those just a little bit, and then we're going to go into the hardware. I love this image. It's talking about WAN failover. So you're driving along, internet connects, it fails over to WAN 2, and then fails back over to WAN 1. So that backup connection is there for you, keeps your network operations going, and get you back up and running as soon as that connection is recovered. Most ISPs on a business scale have a 4 to 12 hour response time. So instead of being down for 4 to 12 hours, you fail over to that backup connection and go right back to your main connection as soon as it's restored. It's great for small branch offices, long distance Ethernet, retail connectivity, where you want like a low cost, easy to implement solution that doesn't require a lot of overhead. WAN smoothing is kind of like the picture there. It fills in all the gaps. If you're an IT person and you know what a RAID array is, it uses parity bits or extra data that it sends across all the circuits in rotation, so that if one internet connection is slower or less reliable than the other internet connections, the other internet connections are carrying the load, so that you're not suffering with the ups and downs of variable connectivity. It is excellent for voice over IP, tele-video conferencing, and our broadcast segment. And bandwidth bonding, once again, kind of said it earlier, but it's the idea of combining multiple connections. It's really good for fixed line. If you have a gig MPLS connection primarily going into your facility, and you want to augment that with some gig fiber from different carriers to make sure you have redundancy, but also while they're running, have increased throughput, you can do that. A lot of our enterprise customers are actually replacing MPLS with bonded fiber lines, because typically you can buy 2 or 3 gigabit fiber lines for cheaper than a single gigabit MPLS, which means you have 3 different carriers, 3 different paths that all have to fail before your internet connection gets, or your company goes offline. So bandwidth bonding is the idea of just combining all together for the maximum throughput and reliability. So I'm going to go over the Max family router overview, and the idea here is to talk about the different routers, because a lot of times when we're talking about these solutions, I don't think it's understood how wide we spread. And in the mobile healthcare world, some of these products won't really apply, where they're really geared towards the first responders or the SOHO or the remote worker section. But I'm just going to give you a broad overview of the routers that we have. And then after this, I'm going to go over how it's deployed and give you some real insight into how easy it is to make this work. So I'm kind of, talk about SpeedFusion, talk about the Max family of routers, and then I'm going to go over the how it works. So all of our Max Mobile family have SIM failover. Each modem has redundant SIM slots to insert coverage. And what that means is if you have our BR1, this guy over here on the top right, this black one, if you have oh, actually, that's not a BR1. That's a HD2 Mini. Anyways, if you have a BR1 with a single cellular and you have Verizon in it, for example, and Verizon has an outage, our routers, all of our routers have redundant SIM cards, which means you can fail over to another SIM card, another carrier like AT&T FirstNet or T-Mobile, Sprint, or somebody else. And so the idea is, even on a single cellular solution that doesn't take advantage of our Speed Fusion technology, you can still have increased reliability and redundancy. We use InControl 2 to manage and monitor all of our routers in your fleet. And what's really neat about InControl 2 is it's included as part of your warranty and your support, but it also includes GPS fleet tracking, configuration management, event log management, firewall configuration, SIM card reporting, and data usage. So if you have multiple devices, you're able to use InControl to really easily get a executive overview of your network. I have a couple of our customers that love it so much, they actually put it on a big 55-inch screen TV in their NOC, and they can watch all their vehicles driving around and use it as a way to see what their network looks like. So InControl 2 is included in all of our products. It's part of our seamless ecosystem of connectivity. Some of our devices, like this white one in the back center, are IP67. They're made from aircraft grade aluminum, and they can withstand extreme weather. They can be sitting right outside. One of our partners, JVC, actually mounted it to the roof of a mobile broadcast vehicle with the antenna. It was cool looking, and it had all the antennas on the roof of the vehicle, and but just right out in the open, sitting on top of it in the sun. And so you can mount these in incredibly diverse locations outside in extreme weather. In most mobile scenarios, though, what you're looking at these black small routers. These are our industrial grade routers that are designed for transport and designed for rugged vibrations and the kind of the harsh conditions that might be in a vehicle. And then all of these devices, either single SIM card all the way to our quad and even 18 SIM card devices, are Speed Fusion or PEP VPN capable. So it ensures connectivity and uptime and aggregation. And so the idea is, no matter which router you buy, you're getting good connectivity. And what this means to your workforce is reliability and continuity. So if you have clinicians working from home right now, or you have a radiologist that has to review images on the go because they can't come into the office, you could actually have Speed Fusion with an HD4 or HD2 in their office using their internet VPN'd in, and it's one ecosystem. So it makes it incredibly easy to manage and deploy. All of our routers are compatible with all the big carriers here in the US and all over the world. But more, speaking of Verizon, Sprint, AT&T, T-Mobile, Telus, Bell, US Cellular, and Rogers. Obviously, I believe Rogers, Telus, and Bell are in Canada, if I'm not mistaken. But the idea is we have great compatibility. We certify with all the carriers to make sure they work. We register all of our devices with those carriers to make sure they work. So the BR1, these are our single cellular solutions, and there's a lot of them. This is actually, we have more BR1 brand products than any other one of our routers. And the reason is because there's different use cases. And I'm not going to go over each use case because that's not important for this case study. But the idea is that these single SIM card routers provide either that hot failover solution or connectivity for remote workers, or hotspots, replacement hotspots for individuals that are trying to connect into your infrastructure. And there's a couple different ideas. You have a couple different single devices. The BR1 Slim, for example, is really tiny. It can fit in a backpack, and it can be powered by USB. So in other words, you can plug this into a USB on your laptop and without any other connectivity be powered on and connected to the internet and on our secure VPN. So you don't have to connect to public Wi-Fi. You don't have to worry about software-based VPN. You can ensure compliance of your infrastructure at a very low cost, easy to deploy solution that's compact and rugged. And then you have the BR1 Enterprise that has no Wi-Fi built in to ensure compliance with companies that don't have Wi-Fi needs. And then the BR1 Mark II, which is our high performance, dual band Wi-Fi, single cellular device, really designed to provide a good hotspot for a large group of people in a single environment where you just need one SIM card. And then you can go to our BR1 IP555, which is an incredibly powerful outdoor unit with either directional antennas, omni antennas, or optional external antennas that are software selectable. So you can choose what type of antenna you want to use for this device. And then our BR1 IP67, which makes great failover connectivity that you can mount to the outside of a building to plug into your existing infrastructure. Our HD series of routers is the upgrade of the BR1. These are our Speed Fusion bonding routers. These are going to do not only your hot failover, but your WAN smoothing and your bonding. So, you know, the BR1 series can provide the hot failover and the PEP VPN. The HD series provides the WAN smoothing and the bonding. And so what the idea is, you can have, most of the time you have 2 Ethernet WANs, unless the smaller units have 1 Ethernet WAN, but you're gonna have 2 or 3 Ethernet WANs. You're gonna have 2 or 4 integrated cellular, your FirstNet compatible, all your 4G compatible. And then if you look at the HD4 MBX, my #1 selling mobile healthcare router, it's completely modular as far as upgradable. So, you know, you buy it right now with 4G or even category 18 pre-5G, and then as category 20 comes out or any future 5G technology comes out, you just plug the module in. It's like buying a little card. You just plug it in and boom, your vehicle or your remote location is upgraded to 5G support. So the HD2 series are great dual SIM routers, incredibly powerful for telemedicine, small vehicles, you know, like where you have 1 or 2 clinicians on board and you're doing some televideo, and you're going to be in an area that you know you have decent coverage, right? So you're maybe going down a metro area, or you're going into really well connected and lit up cellular areas, and you're not looking for that extra boost when there's congestion. The HD2 Dome is an incredibly powerful router that can actually mount outside to your vehicle or to your building to provide dual cellular connectivity, all via single Cat5. So if you have to have, like, if you want internet outside of a building or where you have a long cable run and you're going to have a lot of loss by running an antenna, you can use the HD2 Dome or the HD2 IP67 or the HD4 IP67 to run just a single Ethernet to your network, and then have those 4 SIM cards or 2 SIM cards with 0 loss of RF, because you know you don't have any antenna gain. And so those are those. Our transit portfolio are very similar to the BR1s and the HD2s, but they are designed for transit in mind. Your emergency responders, your ambulances, small like police vehicles. They don't really have the power to, like, you don't want to put a transit in a like a big healthcare vehicle, but your small vehicles, these are great for. They're incredibly rugged. They're powered by anything. You can power them with USB, Ethernet, not Ethernet, USB, direct DC, or even just a regular AC plug. And a lot of them are equipped with ignition sense, so they can actually detect whether the vehicle is on or off and stay running for 30 minutes or an hour. So that way you're not constantly rebooting them as you start and stop a vehicle. But the transit devices are built with mobility in mind for small vehicles. And so they're very low cost, easy to deploy, and easy to, they're tiny, so they're very portable as well. We also have a FirstNet portfolio, and the FirstNet portfolio, as you can see, is very similar to the other portfolio. So I'm not going to go over each router, but we do have 3 single cellular FirstNet certified devices, 4 dual cellular certified FirstNet devices, and 2 quad cellular FirstNet devices. What this means is that no matter what size your deployment is or how many people you want connected, if you do want FirstNet, we do have those capabilities. We are also FirstNet authorized distributors and partners. So If you are looking for a FirstNet solution, it becomes a turnkey solution because we can provide you the routers, we can provide you the FirstNet connectivity and agreements and help you get it all up and running as a single solution. So that's something just as well to think about. So let's talk about how this works. I call this healthcare coexistence, but I do know one person that's on here is not in healthcare, and so at least one person. And so I do want to say that this is a coexistence design. I say healthcare, but it's just because of the way the wording is. But this coexistence design is an incredibly useful capability to basically plug in this network securely without interrupting your current operations. And that is big when you're talking about your IT department's agreement to this or your security department's agreement to this, because one thing they don't want to do is say, hey, what's this peplink router that we're plugging into our network and how secure is it? And then I'm not going to plug something that's going to interrupt our network. And so what I've done is I've built an idea and a design that I can go to any facility and plug these in with zero interruption to your existing infrastructure, which means that we're not taking your network down or anything like that. Basically, the idea is you have a router or virtual appliance on the left-hand side here. That's going to be your bonding. That's what's going to give you access to your medical records, your data center, your PACS servers, that kind of stuff. This guy's going to have a public access, and then a private access. And then it can go through your DMZ and your firewall. And I can talk the lingo to your security department. So don't worry about that. We've never failed a security audit yet. But basically, you put this guy in on the left-hand side, and it provides the access to your hospital records and PACS. And then on the right-hand side, we have your mobile clinics. And what's neat is you sign up with one vehicle and you get it programmed and connected. And then it's super easy to scale. Because of the way our SpeedFusion VPN works with in control and the way our VPN technology sets up, it's incredibly easy to add multiple devices to your infrastructure without extra headache. So once the router is set up or the virtual appliance is set up on the left-hand side, we connect one device on the right-hand side. Every additional device is simply just assigning an IP subnet and clicking a checkbox and in control to add it to the network. And if there are IT people on this, we're talking military grade security. We use pre-shared keys or SSL certificates, as well as local and remote IDs to authenticate the VPNs to each other. And then when this is deployed, once again, I'm really speaking to the IT just in case there are any on here. We also do something called default deny in and out. So when you have this SDX router here on the left and your mobile router on the right, we deny all traffic in and out of those routers through the cellular connectivity. The only allowed traffic is the VPN. What that means is your mobile router is actually following the policies of your LAN. So they become just like an MPLS switched network. You're going to plug the switch into this SDX on the left-hand side. It's going to have OSPF, BGP, or just a static route to your networks. And then that's going to advertise the networks on the right. And then these guys are going to have a default route that says, if you have a laptop connected to this MBX here on the right, and it goes to google.com, it's going to go over the MBX through SpeedFusion to the SDX into your DMZ, out your firewall to the internet. So all traffic traverses your firewall and your DMZ. It's actually one of the things that makes our deployments so popular within the medical industry, because now your mobile medical vehicles are part of your LAN, which means you can enforce policies in Active Directory and DNS and connectivity. So it's super important that even though I'm talking about, I did a lot of just kind of breezing over this. If there is a security guy on here, I do want them to know that we're not just advertising connectivity and you're going, whoa, this isn't going to work. It works well. And I ask you to challenge me on that, and I'd be more than happy to demonstrate more detail. So part of SpeedFusion, the idea is redundancy. And so I've got this really just simple infographic that kind of talks to your mobile vehicle. You can have these 4 LTE connections. They connect to the internet. At your hospital, you can have your 2 or 3 or 4, but usually it's just 2 fiber lines coming in, goes into your firewall, goes to our peplink router, and we bond that together. So the peplink endpoint breaks all that information up into multiple packets, sends it over the internet to the peplink router sitting in your data center, and the peplink router in your data center puts those packets back together and sends them to the intended destination. So we've done a lot of mammography. Oh my gosh, tongue tied there. Mammography is the very first mobile medical I ever did. It's also one of the hardest mobile medical clinics to be able to do because of the size of the imaging. And I'm constantly told this can't be done, and I'm doing it every month. I'm deploying a new solution. This router that you're looking at was not posted above at all. This is called an EPX. It supports up to 18 SIM cards. What that means is that you can aggregate at incredible throughputs. I did a demonstration for a guy, and I believe he's on this conversation, where we demonstrated 500 megs of bonded throughput using an EPX and SIM cards. So it is possible to have incredible reliability and throughput. And so for mobile mammography, our CT scans, and even some of our dental clients, they're using the EPX just for that extra burst of connectivity, so that it's even faster. And then our other case is mobile dental. This is a Children's National up in Washington, beautiful clinic. They're also running an EPX, and the challenge once again was getting they have 3 stations here. They have X-rays, they have 3 laptops, they're all running simultaneous, and they wanted that connectivity to be instantaneous and reliable access to their EMR. And so by using the EPX again, we were able to establish an incredibly reliable high-speed network so that they could operate in near real time. When the clinician that was on this vehicle doing the testing with us, we were able to upload a dental image and then view that on the laptop in under a minute. And so that was an incredible feat for them, and proof of success that the technology and the capability does work. We also do telehealth quite often. Can Community is not only the IT manager there is a friend of mine, but we also have been deploying out these routers in scale, and they're doing great things in education and training, and providing health resources to people in need. And so they've set up these mobile vans with video conferencing solutions. They can drive out, do health counseling and coaching on the fly, and they're using our MBX. You see it's mounted here to the back of the vehicle, and you can see the antennas going down, and then that's one of the antennas on the roof there. And so we mounted that to the back of the unit. There's that computer right there, and then that goes into a TV that's sitting behind this red wall, and there's a webcam. So the computer and the router are secured back here, and then on the other side of the wall is a camera and a screen so that they can do their televideo. And they're able to successfully do this multiple days a week in real time because of the technology of the speed fusion bonding that we're providing. That was a lot of information. I wanted to actually introduce you to our team, West Networks. Dr. Karen West, CEO, and she's also in charge of all our marketing efforts. Me, Peter West, I'm the senior architect. I handle most of the enterprise integrations and connectivity. We have a great sales team, Tim Swayze, Amber Beers, and Trisha Davis. And then support team, we actually have a lot of support, but our support manager is Josh Robichaud. Once again, you can call us or email us for support. And if you'd like to book a demo, if you go to book.westnetworks.com, you can schedule an an online demo, and we can evaluate your needs and help you with options and connectivity. And if you want to just do some research on us, you can go to www.westnetworks.com and just kind of scope out some of our projects. I did skim through this kind of fast, and the idea is to not be super boring. I wanted to kind of go over the information and give an executive overview so that you understand what is possible. And I'm hoping this and tweaks some interest in your thought processes. Man, I could use this to help improve connectivity. And that's what we want to do. We want to improve the life of your clinicians. As an IT person for almost 25 years, it's so easy to sit at my throne of computer workstation and go, hey, I've set up an internet connection for you. It's not my problem. And the clinicians are in these vehicles working every day, trying to get their work done and serve people. And if you put yourself in their shoes, we want to make sure that that end user experience is just like they were sitting at your hospital. And with Peplink SD-WAN, you can do that. And I guarantee it. If it doesn't work, I'll buy it back. So take a minute. If you want to write this down, we're also going to publish this, and hopefully you've emailed sales@westnetworks.com. So I will offer, I said there's going to be some more swag. If you email sales@westnetworks.com again, and you tell me what you liked about this presentation or one thing you learned, the winner of, we'll take all those, and the winner will get our little cooler backpack that's pictured up top. So you'll get a free cooler chair backpack. It's a, just for your summer goodways. And then in the month of May, we're also doing a campaign where if you buy some routers, you get free swag. I know it sounds kind of corny, but it's a little extra. So based on that swag, we have tents, we have a barbecue kit that we're giving away, some chairs, a little barbecue ninja spatula kit. And so it's just kind of our way of saying thank you for being our customers and make it a little bit more fun, because sometimes IT is a little boring. So we try to figure out a way to make it a little bit more fun. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you learned something, and I'm going to open up for questions now. So hopefully my staff can look at the questions and let me know if there's any posted.
All right, I see one question here, so I'm going to go ahead and try and give you the ability to talk. Let's see how this goes.
I don't want to butcher the name, but I believe it's Azrath. If you have a microphone, you should be able to talk.
Oh, it looks like he just actually dropped off.
Okay, then.
But we do have a question from Jerry. What is the most network-heavy installation you've done? CT scan, maybe?
So the most network heavy was not healthcare, but I will, because we're on a healthcare conversation, I will say healthcare. The most network heavy would be mammography at this point, just because of the 6 GB raw file size. We have a particular customer that has done incredible amounts of bandwidth, where they started off with an EPX, once again, our 15 cellular router, and they had to keep adding SIM cards because they were sucking up the throughput of them. And they're running, I believe, like hundreds of scans per week. I don't want to speak wrong. I am not a clinician. I don't run mobile mammography, but I would say our mobile mammography clinic up in Pennsylvania is our heaviest data user in our healthcare world. I've got 2 other customers that are non-healthcare. One customer of Peplink does into the triple digit terabytes of data, but that's a different project.
Great. We've got another question from Tony. What would be the optimal Peplink device for a mobile robot to primarily use Wi-Fi with a cellular backup? And what could you use as the LAN head and why?
So if you were going to operate a mobile robot, you could use one of 2 routers, depending on the connection requirements. So the first obvious answer for me would be the SpeedFusion engine. It wasn't displayed here in this meeting, but the SpeedFusion engine is a dual SIM IoT router that can use bonding over cellular. Now, the downside to the SpeedFusion engine is it doesn't have any integration with other WANs. So it's a cellular only device with a single Ethernet handoff. Whereas if you were to go to the Transit Duo, especially if you're going to be in a Wi-Fi enabled area, you could have Wi-Fi as your primary internet for the robot, have failover to dual SIM card in the Transit Duo, and then you would bond that back to an SDX at your head end. Depending on how many robots. If you're only going to have a few, then you could maybe do a 210 or 305. But you would go back to an SDX in your head end, and that's going to bond the Wi-Fi and the cellular. So you'd be in a hot failover scenario, actually. So what you do is your Wi-Fi network would be primary. In the event that the Wi-Fi were to be dropped or lose connectivity, you don't want to lose your robot. So it's going to fail over seamlessly to cellular and keep that connectivity live. Not only can you take advantage of the Transit Duo for the hot failover, but you could also use it for its GPS tracking. So you'd be able to actually kind of get the location of the robot as well.
Great. Another question from Jerry. Given the changed world of healthcare we are in, what kind of growth right now do you see with mobile clinic vehicles?
I am not a marketing person. I'm an engineer, but I can tell you from what I've personally witnessed that it's going to grow a lot. The idea of I mean, even what we've seen with our existing customers right now doing epic and amazing things where they're taking these mobile dental and mobile mammography vehicles, and they're turning them into checkpoints in health centers and remote mobile hospitals. The technology is there. It is everything you need in a hospital on a mobile vehicle, and it can go anywhere. And I believe that as this, I hate the term, but it's just so cliche, but the new normal, this new normal life that we're going to be living, I think it's going to be required. I think if you're in the mobile world right now, you're only going to be experiencing growth, whether it's you're running the mobile program at your hospital, or if you're running the network connectivity. I think IT people need to be more abreast on that technology and how are you getting in, because you can't just give that person a hotspot and say good luck. It's not going to work, and they're not going to be able to do their jobs.
Great. I don't see any more questions yet, but we can give it another half a minute.
Give another minute. Yeah, let's give it another minute. And
one more just popped up.
Oh, there we go.
From Tony, are the JVC mobile mounting kits for sale? And if so, how much?
They are. I prefer not call it JVC mobile mounting kit, but the IP67 mounted routers are definitely for sale. They're great for buses and cars and connectivity. And they range, and actually Amber, who's speaking, would know the price better, but I believe the IP67 HD2 is in the, Amber, help me out there a little bit.
I believe the IP67 version of the HD2 is $28.99.
There we go. And it'll go up from there based on if you want the dual or quad SIM version. Okay, we'll give it like another 10 or 15 seconds. And then I just want to thank everybody. Once again, if you email me at sales@westnetworks.com with your shirt size, whether or not you're male or female, or whether it's for your preference of shirt, I'm going to make that clear too. I mean, whatever preference of shirt gender you would like. And then your shipping address, we would love to send you a shirt. If you email me additionally with what you liked about this presentation or what you didn't like, just feedback. I'd be more than happy to take both types of criticism, and we will put you to a drawing for one of our backpack cooler chairs and some additional swag. So I want to thank everybody for being online. Amber, if we've had no more questions since we started that.
We have one more.
Okay.
Another one from Jerry. He wants to know if we've done any installations in Colorado.
We have. We have done several installs in Colorado, Denver, Colorado, to be more specific. Yeah, and I've had great success there, and I love going there. So if you want me to come do an install, let me know.
What kind of mobile, was it mobile?
It was a mobile STEM lab. So it was, not STEM, it was a mobile training facility for ambulances.
Awesome.
Any other questions? And Jerry, if you'd like to talk, I don't know your last name, but please email us and you can ask me a whole bunch more questions as well. And if you're in Colorado, I love going to Colorado and have had fun working with some facilities over there anyways. But otherwise, any further questions, please email sales or call or go to book.westnetworks.com and you can schedule a one-on-one meeting with me. I'd be more than happy to go over any infrastructure and design. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and have Tricia end the webinar, and have a great day.